Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Zoomafia tier list. Okay, this is how we're gonna do this, man. I'm going to put these players where I think they deserve to be, but I'm gonna get the help from you guys. I know a lot of these are kind of gonna stump me. I'm not sure where to put these, honestly, but that's why you guys are here. We're gonna take it to the chat whenever I'm undecided, and you guys are gonna help me decide where a lot of these players go. Let's start with the D tier first, man. We're gonna start all the way at the bottom. Actually, we'll go player by player. Why don't we just go player by player? First, we'll start off with Jimbo. Okay, Jimbo. I'm sorry, Jimbo. Okay, but personally, you just haven't been the best. You just came over to Paris. You've been playing a lot better now. You could, right now, you're gonna have to go to the bottom of the tier list just because. He hasn't been playing. When he first came into the league, he wasn't doing his thing. He was actually doing the opposite. I think he's last in KD right now. But Jimbo just hasn't been performing well. So we're gonna throw him down in D. I think Jimbo has a lot in the tank and he has a lot to show, but he just hasn't showed it yet. So we're gonna have to throw him down there for now. Where does CleanX go? Where does CleanX go? So for me, he's either going C or B, like around there. It's either gonna be a B or a C. With the way that Toronto Ultra's year has been going and the inconsistencies he's had, I'm leaning more towards C right now. Let's go to the next one. Bance, Benjamin Bance. I think Bance could probably go around the same spot, right? I feel like him and Bance kind of go hand in hand here. See, there's some people saying D. I don't know if Bance should be in the D here. I don't know. I feel like there's levels to this, man, and the throw Bance next to Jimbo just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe things will change as things go. We'll see how the list plays out, but right now I'm gonna put him next to his teammate. I feel like him and CleanX go pretty hand in hand this year with their inconsistencies, their ups and downs. So we're gonna leave them there. We got Mr. Pred. What do we do with Pred, man? What's he? He's kind of like a B tier. He's kind of like a middle of the pack B, maybe I don't know if I'll bring him up to A. I feel like B tier is a perfect place for Pred. He started off the year really hot. Honestly, he's recently been playing really well as well. I feel you could argue him maybe even closer to A too, Chad, like top of B. I feel you can argue him top B, last of A, like kind of up there. Like Pred has been really, really good for Seattle. He's been a really good player. Now, the only reason why you can't just put him all the way at the top is because when you look at some of these other players, we got to be careful with what we do here. But then we got his teammate, Mack. Where do we put Mack? I feel like Mack might even be an A. I feel like Mack has been Seattle's best player, if you want my honest opinion. I feel like he's their most impactful player. I feel like he's one of their more consistent players. If I'm looking at Mack, I'm looking at like a high B, low A. But I think right now putting him in A makes some good sense. I think that makes sense. Now we got Mr. Juanito, Benito, Mr. John. What do we do with John, man? I personally think John has been one of Paris's better players. But, he's still at the bottom of the tier list for me. I think in either C or D for him. I just don't know where to put him. These are one of those players where, like, I expect more from. I want to see more from John. I think he has signs of brilliance, but he has a lot of signs of weakness too. He has a lot of up and downs, a lot of inconsistencies. Paris, obviously, not the best team in the league right now. Probably one of the worst. So we're gonna put him in D. We're gonna put him above Jimbo. We're gonna put him above his teammate Jimbo for now. And see who else gets into that category. But John, you're getting placed into the D tier. Now we get into the next one. We got Shotzzy. Now, as I just ranted about an hour ago, as I think Shotzzy's the best player in the game, it's only right that we put him up in S. I'm a big fan of Shotzzy and the way he plays, man. The way he's able to use his movement to get into favorable positions and play his life. He's super hard to kill. He's super hard to play against. And he just makes everybody else's job a lot easier. Ellie, Scump, Dashy, everybody on his team, he just makes life easier for them. So I definitely think Shotzzy just got to go all the way up to the top. We could do a poll. I mean, the poll is up, but I think we're all going to agree on this one that Shotzzy should probably go all the way up to S. Okay, so there's a poll that says, can't gun Chris's hidden, and it's 35%. Chris, you would get smoked by Shotzzy, but the community has spoken, and Shotzy's going up to the S tier. This one gets a little tricky. This one gets tricky. We got Scump, ladies and gentlemen. We got Scump. Now, personally, I'm thinking right now Shotzy's in a tier of his own, personally. So I'm thinking A is the perfect spot to put Scump right now, just because I think in order to get into that S tier, It's gonna be really, really tough, man. Really, really tough. I think Shotzzy's setting the bar pretty high. We'll send it over to the poll. We'll make a quick poll real quick and see what you guys think. The chat's spamming A. I see a couple S's in there, but the chat is spamming A, so I'm guessing you guys are on the same page here, and we can go Scump A here. I think Scump, honestly, and chat, this is me being completely honest, bro. Completely fucking honest. Just saying it how I think it is. I think Scump right now is playing some of the best COD he's ever played. He's playing really, really good. Not the best COD he's ever played, but he's looking really, really good. Like, he's playing really good COD. He's at the top of his game right now. He's at the top of his game, and he's playing how he wants to play. And sure, there's always room for improvement. He can always get better. But right now, I think Scump is really showing out. And it's weird to me because everybody's always talking about Scump retires, Scump retires, Scump, when Scump retires, this and that. But, bro, he's 26. Dude, Scump is 26, chat. That's not even old. 26, that's like prime year. That's like he's in his mid-20s. Like, this guy could still play for years. You know? Like, I still think he's got a lot left in the tank. I think he's playing really well. It's been a pleasure watching him. I'm going to put him in the A tier. Seems like most people agree. It seems like a lot of you guys. We got a lot. Okay, so we actually got 68% A and we got 28% S, which is crazy. We also got 4% B. There was 24 people, 24 people in here, 4%, excuse me, that said B. I think you guys are crazy for voting B, but I think A is the perfect spot. So top of A is where we're gonna leave Scump. Neptune. Obviously, he plays for the New York Subliners. This is a little outdated, but who gives a fuck? What do we do with Neptune here, man? He has really struggled early on. It wasn't until recent where we started seeing him with some success. I think right here, it's like, you know, I think Neptune has a higher ceiling than Jimbo and John. And I think recently he's been playing a little bit better, but he hasn't showed much this year, man. Like, I see right now we're pretty half and half on the C's and the D's. Actually, no, it's mostly C. If we're putting him C, he has to be either low C, high D. Again, I think Neptune has potential to be great. I think he has really good movement. I think right now Neptune's biggest problem is just sometimes he's just kind of all over the place. And he's super, super inconsistent. And he just started off the year really, really slow. I think a lot of that had to do with the team he was playing for and the system he was playing for. Right now, I'm going to leave him bottom of C. Let's see what the poll says. Let's see what the community says. We got 72% for C. We got 20% for D. So we're going to leave him at C. The community has spoken. So we're going to put him at the bottom of C here. I'm not going to put him over CleanX and Bance. But then we go over to Mr. Paco. Mr. Hydra. Mr. Paco himself. I feel like this is another a perfect A for me. A perfect A. I feel like Paco deserves to be an A. Again, in order to get to that S tier. I personally think Paco has S tier skill to be up there with Shotzzy, but with the recent results and how the team's been going and how the team's been struggling, we can't put him in S tier. Like, we can't do that. I think A is the perfect place. Now, the thing is where do we put him in A? I don't know. We'll come back and look at it towards the end, and we'll kind of move things around, and we'll see where we got to move him. I don't know if I would put him above. Actually, he might be top of A. He might be, I don't know. What do you guys think? Right now, we'll leave it how it is. We're going to leave him in A. We got 71% coming in for A. We got 19% coming in for B. And we have 9% coming in from S. Okay, so I'm surprised people are putting B. We have 77 people in here that said B. We have 40 people who are saying S. So there's 40 people in here that want to see him on S. And 300 now people saying A tier. We're keeping him in A. The community has spoken. We're going to keep him in A. Right now, we're not going to focus too much about positioning. We'll go through that later. Standy, Mr. Eli, Minnesota's Rookie of the Year, basically. He was their superstar player last year. This year has been super underwhelming for, I think, what Standy is capable of doing. I think maybe like a low B or a C. Like, he's got to be like a C or a B. I'm not putting him in D. He's way too talented to be that low. I think right now he's definitely sits around like a C or a B. I think even he himself will tell you that, you know, the talent he has, he can easily be up there in the A. And who knows, even last year there were times where people might even put him in S. But I think this year he just hasn't hit that ceiling yet. And I think it's going to take him some time. I think as the year goes on, he's going to get better and better and better. But right now, he hasn't been that rookie Standy that we saw last year. So I personally think a C- is probably the best place to put him. I see a lot of people spamming D in here as well. So we're going to go to the community and see what you guys say at the polls, man. We got 16% coming in for B. We got 66% for C. We got 320 votes. And then we only have 18% for D. So 66% of you said to put him in C. So the community has spoken. The Zoomafia has spoken. We're going to put him at C for now. And we're going to leave him there. And maybe we'll move some of these people around. But right now, we're going to leave him there. And I think we could put him above Nep, though. I think above Nep makes sense. Can we all agree that above Nep? Could we put a yes or no in the chat? I feel like above Neptune makes sense here. I feel like putting him above Nep looks more, you know, realistic, you know? Chat, what do you think, Paco? Do you think Paco should be above Scump? Or do you think he should be right under Scump, right in between Mack and Scump? What about right there? Go Scump, Hydra, Mack. Like that. I think that's perfect, right? Like that. I think that looks pretty good. What do you guys think? W? Okay, we'll leave it like that. We'll do Scump, Hydra, and Mack in that order. I feel like that's a pretty good order. I feel like that makes sense. You know what I'm talking about? I'm a really big Hydra fan, chat. I'm a dude, trust me. Like I can see Hydra being S tier when he gets under a good system with a good group of guys that have the same mentality as him. They start getting top 3 placings, and Hydra really starts showing what he's able to do. I can see Paco one day getting higher and higher. You know, I'm a big fan of Hydra. I think talent-wise, when you watch him play, his movement, his gun skills, awareness, I think he's such a well-rounded player. I'm a really big fan. I see somebody that's saying get off his dick. But listen, one thing you can do is suck my dick. Go fuck yourself. I like Paco where he's at right now. Big fan of Hydra. That's my guy right there. So we're going to leave him right there. You know what I'm saying? Let's go over to the next one. We got Priestahh. Okay, we got Mr. Preston. What do we do with Preston, guys? He's been super underwhelming this year. He hasn't been the Preston we know and love. He's really been struggling, man. Really been struggling. Just like... You know, Preston, he's had a lot of ups and downs in his career, man. You know, he shows signs of brilliance. He shows signs of, you know, not good. This year, it's been more on the not good side. I feel like it's been really hard for him to find his rhythm. Granted, he's kind of been going through role changes and team problems and this and that. You know, there's a lot of problems going on in the Minnesota Rocker camp right now. So I'm kind of undecided here between C or D, and we're going to go over to the community and see what you guys say for this one, bro. Let's see what you guys say. Let's check it over. We got 15% C. We have 83% D right now. 83% D. I personally would put him above John and Jimbo. If we're going to put him in the D category, I'm going to put him at the top of D. But the community is voting 80+% right now. 82%. There you go. The final was 82% D, 16% C. I think D is probably where he's going to have to go. The Zoomafia, the community has spoken. I definitely think Preston is an amazing player, but this year he has just not been it. I think he's going to have to find his rhythm a little bit. I think maybe with some switch-ups to the roster. I know now that they're trying out new players and they're trying out different variations to the roster. They're trying out different roles. They really have to figure out that formula to let Preston shine and to get into his element a little bit. I see some people saying that John has been better. Interesting. So you think we should put John above Priestahh? John might be a little bit better. He might be a little bit better right now. It's close, man. It's close. It's close between him and they're like. It seems like okay. So you guys definitely want to put John over Priestahh. Okay. What about Jimbo? We can't put Priestahh under Jimbo though. We can't put Priestahh under Jimbo. I think this makes sense. John, Priestahh, Jimbo looks pretty good. Looks pretty good, right? We could do it like that. Jimbo above? Nah, you're crazy. Nah, you crazy. Nah. Yeah, we can't put him. Nah, we can't put him below Jimbo. Nah, Jimbo hit a really low, man. I think Jimbo's a good player, but he's definitely, you know, when he came into the scene, it was not good, man. He was last in every category. You know, it just was not looking good. Poor Jimbo, man. I think Jimbo's really gonna turn things around, man. He honestly has been turning it around. He's looked better since when he initially came into the league. So, you know, give Jimbo more time. We'll come back and revisit some of these lists and see if we change anything around. But, you know, I've been talking to some of the guys from Paris. Donnie speaks very highly about Jimbo in practice and stuff like that. I know a lot of you guys want to get on his ass, bro. At the end of the day, any one of these players in D tier and C tier would gun every single one of you in the chat. It's not even close. You guys would all probably get pooped on by some of these guys. You know what I'm saying? But we'll keep him in D. We'll keep him. Nah, here comes everybody. Not me. Not me. Cap. I'm the best. I'm just busting you guys' balls, man. For all I know, the next fucking simp is in this fucking chat. You know what I'm saying? For all I fucking know. I have no idea. But let's keep it going, man. Now we go over to Nastie. Nastie's like the perfect B player, in my personal opinion. I don't know where you guys are going to put him. I would probably put him kind of in the middle of the pack. He's definitely not a C or a D. He's definitely done way better and has performed way better than all the players in C or D. To put him up to the A or the S, I just feel like he's been kind of inconsistent. You know, I see him sometimes and I'm like, he's really good. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, you know, like he's kind of just like middle of the pack for me right now. I feel like putting him next to Pred looks pretty good. I feel like there is an argument that you could put him in A because he has been, I mean, London for a good time, you know. London has been was a top 3 team at a point in time, and Nastie was doing his thing. So what do you guys think? We could do a low A here. We could do a top of B. You know, we could do bottom of B. I mean, do we put him over Pred? What do we do with Nastie here? I'm definitely gonna have to go to the polls for this one, man, because this one becomes tricky. You know, middle of the pack. Let's see what the Zoomafia thinks. Let's see what the community says. Okay, so mostly B. We have 83% B, 9% A, 5% C, 2% D. Who the fuck is saying D? Like, you guys trolling? 83% B, though. I think it's pretty fair that we put him at the top of B. I think top of B sounds right. And I see a lot of people saying top of B sounds good. I think top of B looks good. I think that looks pretty good right there. So we're going to leave it right there. Then we're going to go to Afro. Afro, in my personal opinion, is an A, chat. I think right now, Afro is the most impactful player on London. I think I'm a big fan of Afro in the way he plays and how aggressive he is on the map. He's not afraid to make plays. He's not afraid to get aggressive. The real question is where do we put Afro on this list here? We can go to the polls. I can see what you guys are thinking. I'm pretty confident here that most of you guys are going to say A. Yep, we got 85% A. The real question is where do we put him on this list, on this A tier list? Where in the A do we put him? I see a lot of people saying above Mack. I think over Mack. I think we could go over Mack for this one. I think we could go over Mack. Behind Paco, I don't know if I would. Yeah, I don't know if we could put Afro over Paco. And again, I don't know if my bias is getting in the way here, but I think Hydra is really, I don't know. I think Hydra, to me, bro, is just he's a superstar player, bro. Superstar. Like, he literally is the reason New York was even able to win series. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was the sole reason New York was able to even win anything. Let's do a poll. Let's do a Hydra or Afro poll. Where in A? So we got third in A at 62%, second at 34%, and okay, so most people agree with where it is right now. So we're gonna leave it right where it is. Personally, this is where I would have had it too. So Zoomafia, looks like you guys are agreeing with me on this one. We had 34% in the second spot, 62% in the third spot. So we're gonna leave him right there. And we're going to move on to the next one. Look at everybody saying bias. Go hey, watch your mouth. All right, bias. I'm a big Paco fan over here. I'm a big Paco fan. You know what I'm saying? But he deserves to be up there. Paco's a good player. I just bias it because, you know, that's my guy. But I'm also trying to be realistic too, guys, you know. And that's why we're also doing the polls. You know, we're doing the community votes. So you guys can vote. And, you know, we're making this list together, man. This is not just a me list. This is a community list. Then we got Envoy. We got Dylan Envoy, ladies and gentlemen. In my opinion, has been Los Angeles Steve's best player. He's been LAT's best player, in my personal opinion. And I'm not too sure where to put this guy. I'm thinking B. I'm thinking a low B. I think, I definitely think because of how underwhelming LA Thieves have been, you know, we're not putting him in A. That's not going to happen. You know, I think right now, like a low B is probably the best spot for him. I see a lot of people saying high B, so you guys would put Envoy over Pred and Nastie. You guys would put Envoy over Pred and Nastie? I mean, it's tough, man. It's tough because, you know, he's a really good player. Envoy's a really good player, but, you know, they live and die by Envoy. Sometimes Envoy, he's making plays that might be costing him. Sometimes he's making plays that help him. You know, it's kind of, for me, it's like, I don't know. I feel like LATs, because of how much they've been struggling, it's really hard for me to put them above those guys, man. I think Nastie and I think you guys are kind of discrediting Nastie and Pred a little bit in how good those guys actually are. I personally think the bottom of B is a pretty good spot for Envoy. I feel like it's a pretty good spot right now. But what do you guys think? Where in B should we put Envoy? First, second, or third spot? The poll is in the chat. Let's see what the community decides to do. Right now, we got 58% coming in the third spot, 25% in the second spot. We got the first spot that's coming in at 14%, not able to catch up in third. It's taking a lead. It's going up by 56%. Second is getting higher, going from 28 to 30%. But just like that, it looks like number 3 is going to win. The third spot of B is where most of you guys want to put Envoy. I honestly think that you guys are right about this one. Is this horse racing? That was the whole point. I was trying to make it like a horse race or something. 58% coming in for D, 28% coming in for the second spot, 14% coming in for first, 294 votes coming in for third, going down from 58 to 57, back up to 58. We got a 28%, go back to 29% over in the second spot. Ladies and gentlemen, it has concluded. Third spot, we're going to go over Envoy. We're going to leave him there. I'm going to leave him in the third spot. The community has spoken. Zoomafia has spoken. Envoy, you're going to be at the bottom of B. I feel like, so far, chat, I'm pretty happy with the list. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm pretty happy with this list. I feel like we're doing a fantastic job. I really do. Drazah. What do we do with Drazah? Or as the little kid from Shotzzy's video said, Drazah. What do we do with Drazah? What do we do with Drazah over here? I think he's definitely a C. I see a lot of people saying D. I wouldn't go as far as putting him D. I don't know. Dude, you guys want to put him D? You guys actually want to put him D? I see a lot of people saying D. I don't know. I don't know if D is the right spot for him. You know, I think maybe like the bottom of C. Let's go over it. Listen, we got to go to the community vote for this one. I feel if I had a guess, not guess, but if you guys want my honest opinion, I'm going to leave him at the bottom of C. This is where I would personally have him. But I'm curious to see what you guys think. Wow, this is close. We got a 50% coming in from C at 298 votes. We got a 48% coming in from D. Make that 49. We're tied up at 49%. 303 votes to 302. And our final votes, it was 49%. Unbelievable. We have a tie in percentage. We have 49% on D and 49% on C, but the only problem is D had 315 votes and C had 309 votes. The community has spoken. He is moving over into the D part of the list. We're going to put him at the top of D. We're going to put him at the top of D, but the community has spoken, and just like that, Drazah finds himself at the top of D. I personally would have him bottom C, but the community has spoken, and you guys want him at the top of D. It's your list? No, this is not my list. This is a community list. I give my opinions, and so far we have agreed on everything but Drazah. I think so far we have agreed on everything but Drazah, but I think because whether he's at the bottom of C or the top of D, it's pretty much the same shit, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, it doesn't really change much to me. I don't think it's that big of big of a thing. We went to the polls in chat, and you guys voted for D. So, you know, we're gonna put him at the top of D. I'm going to put him at the top of D, bro. Let's go into the next one. We got Mr. Huke. We got Mr. Kyler. We got the champion of the last major, Mr. Huke, Mr. Kyler. The champion, Los Angeles Gorillas' very own. I definitely think right now I'm probably leaning towards putting him in the top of B. I feel like the top of B is a pretty good shout for Huke. He is a champion, and he did play really, really well. I think at the beginning of the year, he kind of had some inconsistencies. And then I think as, you know, as of right now, I mean, he's sitting on top of the world, winning the last event and really making game-changing plays. And I see somebody in the chat over Nastie with a bunch of question marks. I mean, I'm putting him over Nastie personally. I think he's a champion. Huke is a champion, man. He won the event. He made plays, man. He made plays. I know a lot of you guys like to look at stats and other stuff, but when you go back and watch the event, Huke was making some serious fucking plays, man, and it led to them winning an event. So, you know, for somebody who's been playing well, making plays, being impactful, and winning an event, I'm personally going to put Huke at the top of B. I think it'll be disrespectful to Huke if he wasn't at the top of B, in my personal opinion. But let's go over to the chat, man. 78% said that Huke should be in B. But where do you guys think Huke should be on this list, man? First, second, third, or fourth? Let's get a poll in the chat and let's see what some of you guys think, man. I personally think top of B is a pretty good spot to put him. And I see a lot of people, there's a lot of people agreeing and a lot of people disagreeing. So let's take this one to the poll and see what some of you guys are thinking about this one. I definitely think, I kind of like him at the top of B. I'm not going to lie. I do like him. The Drazah one I didn't care about too much because, you know, bottom of C, top of D, whatever. This one, I wouldn't go as far as putting Kyler up in A, but I do think that because he has a championship and they won the event and he was making series fucking plays, I think first to B is a pretty good spot to put him. We got 68% first, 24% second, so we'll leave him up there in first. I think that's a pretty good spot. And then we got Asim, ladies and gentlemen. We got Mr. Asim himself. This guy's got to go up in the A. He's got to go up in the A, bro, without a doubt. He's going up there. He's super impactful, taking the long routes, pushing out cuts, first one in, planting bombs. I mean, this guy's doing it all. I'm personally going to put him pretty high up there. Where do we put him at A? Bottom of A. Who said bottom of A? You are tripping. He's definitely, without a doubt, going above Mack, above Afro, and Hydra. He's going above all those guys, without a doubt. I definitely think Asim's going to be at the top of my A for sure. I think, you know, you guys can go and give your opinions and say what you want. But here's the real question. Where do we do with Asim? Do we put him above Scump or under Scump? Let's take this to the polls and see what you guys think. Where in A should he be first or second? Right now, we got 57% second and only 13%. We have 21% coming in for third, too. Some people want to see Asim in the third spot like this. But, bro, he's a champion. He's a champion, guys. He's an absolute... Asim is a champion. He's a game changer. I think the perfect spot to put Asim is right there, right between Hydra and Scump. You have your two champions at the top, Scump and Asim. I think Scump has been playing really, really good COD. He's been consistent from top to bottom all year long. And then next up is Asim, who has had inconsistencies at times, but this year has been nothing but consistent. He's been playing really, really good, making super impactful plays. I always like to see the people who are making a difference on the map, and Asim is definitely one of them. So I think, like you guys said, it came to a conclusion of 59% in the second spot of A. So you guys agree with me? Wow, crazy that I was only 59%. We got 29%, 21% wanted to see Asim in the third spot, and 13% wanted to see him in the first spot. But I think having him in that number 2 spot, 59% said that, I think is a pretty good spot. I like where that is. I like how that looks right there. We're going to leave that right there just like that. Bada bing, bada boom. How you doing? Okay. Mr. Reese Vivid, ladies and gentlemen. What do we do with Reese? And let me also say something real quick. Let me say something really quick, okay? There's people in this chat. Oh, he should be here. This is a dumb list table. That. Bro, we have over 4,000 people in here, okay? And we all have different opinions, okay? We all have different opinions. At the end of the day, we can't make a perfect list, okay? We can't do that, all right? There's probably some of these players might not like where they are on the list. Maybe they don't agree with it, but whatever. At the end of the day, there's a reason why we're doing community votes, okay? Because we're getting the overall votes, and we're going to see what I'm going to give my opinions. I'm going to put them where I think they should go, and then we'll go to the community and get your guys' opinion based on the polls and make the list accordingly. I understand that some of you guys are going to like the list and some of you guys are going to hate the list. At the end of the day, it's not my fucking problem, okay? Whether you like it or hate it, what do you want me to do? Forget about it. Let's keep it going now. What do we do with Mr. Reese? Where should we put this guy? I'm thinking C. Somewhere in C. I'm not liking him at the bottom of C because I think that right now, Reese is probably the most impactful player on the Florida Mutineers. If you want my honest opinion, I would personally put him somewhere in the middle or maybe even towards the top a little bit of this C. I'm thinking mid or top of C. Okay, we got 69% coming in for C. Okay, so that makes sense. Not the very top. Not the very top. I'm thinking middle of the pack, but where in C should we put Mr. Reese Vivid? We're 100% putting him above Neptune. Now, should we put him above Standy? What should we do here? We should definitely put him above Standy. Standy's been a kind of... We should definitely put him above Standy here for sure. I kind of like it where it is right now. I kind of like him in the middle, like square in the middle. But what do you guys think, bro? Let's take it to the community and see what people were saying. We have 52% that want to see him in the second spot, and we have 24% that want to see him in the third spot. So right now, based on the community, we got half of the people in this chat that want to see him right there, smack in the middle between CleanX and Bance. And that's where most people want to see him, and I don't even mind that. I don't mind that at all. I think Reese, he's a super hyper aggressive player. A lot of interactions, a lot of damage. I think for Florida, in my personal opinion, chat, he's the only true sub player on Florida. And I think that's definitely got to take a toll on him as well. For Reese, I definitely think for him, you know, being one of the only sub players on the team, it's going to make his job a little bit harder. So with the circumstances he's been given and with the way he's been performing, he's had some ups and downs, but I kind of like him. I like him in C. I like him kind of where he's at right there. Based off the community, you guys voted 53%. 260 votes went in for him on the second spot. Close one up. Next one was at 25%. 123 votes to have him in the third spot. But because the community voted, we're going to put him there in the second spot just like that. Boom. We're going to leave him right there. Let's go over to the next one. We got Mr. Owakening. Okay, now he gets tricky. Okay, Enable had Awakening in the A tier. He had him in the A tier. I personally, I think Awakening is a really, really, really talented player. I think sometimes his decision making needs to get a little bit better. I'm personally gonna put him at the top of B. I know Enable had him in A. I think if we're looking at just talent alone, you can toss Awakening all the way to the top. I think in my personal opinion, I want to see Awakening just, you know, make more selfless plays, man. I want him to be more selfless. I want him to be less selfish. I understand that a lot of people call him a kill whore, and he plays for kills, and he plays for stats, and this and that. And granted, while he might do that, and while we might call him out for doing stuff like that, sometimes being a kill whore in COD is good. I think it's always good to have really talented people on your team. But for me, I'm personally going to put him at the top of B. I'm going to put him at the top of B. Better than Nastie? Yeah, I think some of you guys aren't realizing how good Awakening actually is, in my personal opinion. I think you guys aren't realizing how good he actually is. We don't have to put him at the top, but I don't want to put him at the bottom, chat. You know, like we don't have to put him at the top, but we're not putting him at the bottom, you know. We'll go to the chat. Where in B should we put Awakening? Let's go to the community for this one and see where you guys put him. I don't want to put him in A. I know Enable had him in A. I wasn't a fan of having him in A. I think because of their results and kind of how he plays and his play style at times, like I'd rather have him in B. Now where in B is a real series. Huke gotta be after Afro? Nah, you crazy. You crazy. You wanna put Huke up in A? Nah, the community already voted. Huke's going into B. Let's see what you guys think about Awakening. Let's see what you guys think. Where in B should we put him? We got 47% coming in for the second spot, and we got 29% coming in for the third spot. Okay, so it looks like we're going to put him right here, right where I have him. Seems like a lot of people want to put him under Huke. Huke's a champion, man. Huke's going to the top of B, period. I see a lot of people saying, oh, Nastie should go here. No, Huke's a champion. I'm going to put him at the top of B. I think... Asim and A makes sense. Yeah, who could be? I like that. Yeah, we're going to keep it right there. And then Awakening second. Makes sense. The community has spoken. The final verdict. 47% in the second spot. 30% for the third spot. So the next closest was to have him here under Nastie. But personally, I think that is a good argument. I think that is the only argument. That maybe he can go under Nastie here. But we'll leave him at the top of B. Right underneath Huke. I think his talent alone... sets Awakening apart. Bro, if we're going straight off raw talent, man, Awakening is like, you know, when you're looking at all the other players next to him on a B tier, like raw talent, man, Awakening can play, man. He's a really, really good raw talented player. He's really good at getting kills. I just think we need to see more in his gameplay and see him really take his gameplay to the next level, man. I want to see him making game-winning plays. You know what I'm saying? But this is what we came up with, so we're gonna leave him right there. Now we got Nero Poison. What should we do with Nero? I feel like I'm feeling like a B or a C here for Nero, like a top C maybe. It's hard to put him in B because he just, like, realistically, man, like he's been so inconsistent, man. so inconsistent. He's either so good or just so, like, you know, below average. Like, there's not really like an in-between with him right now. Right now, he either setting that bar high or low, and he's not finding like that consistency, that rhythm where he's just playing every week, like, you know, at a high level. I think he's going to have to find some more consistency in his gameplay before we start putting him up here. But again, like I said, a lot of these players at the bottom of the list can definitely make their way up higher. But I think with how things have been going, top of C is probably the best place to put him, in my honest opinion. But what do you guys think, bro? Let's go over to the polls. We had 76% saying that he should go into the C category. So I think we can all agree that he belongs in C. But where in C do we put him? I personally would put him at the top of C. I see some people saying mid C, but let's see what you guys think, man. We're going to go straight to the polls. Where in C should we put him? Let's take a look and see what you guys are saying. We got 57% saying he should be in the first spot, 30% saying the second spot, and then third, 11%, 4 and 5. Those are 7 and 8%, or or double 3%, 10 votes, 9 votes. So we're not going to look at that. So we're just going to look at the top. We got 53% for the first spot, and we got 31% for the second spot. So it looks like, Nero, you secured your spot based off the community at the top of C, which I agree with you guys on that one. I'm going to be honest. I know there's a lot of people who also disagree. So half of you were saying to put him in 1, and the other half is basically saying he should be 2 or somewhere else. I personally think the top of C is a good spot to put him. I think one thing I do admire about Nero Poison is even when he is having a shit map, he doesn't slow down. He keeps on going. Sometimes you'll see players like they're getting shit on and they start slowing it down and playing for kills and kind of play scared and they don't make plays. For me, one thing I always respected about Nero and Capsidal, because we're about to do Capsidal, is that even when they're having bad maps, they're not afraid to make plays and to keep going and to keep just fucking putting that gas pedal down and to keep trying to do the right thing. Because sometimes players, you know, if things aren't going their way, they kind of shut down. But I feel like these guys, you know, they be doing their thing, man. They always apply that pressure. But let's go over to Capsidal, man. What should we do with Capsidal? I'm thinking B here. I think right now Capsidal has definitely been Boston's top SMG player. I think, again, he has the same problems as Nero with the consistency problems. I think right now, like, he needs to find his rhythm and kind of get more consistent on a day-to-day basis. I'm thinking maybe, like, middle of B, like, maybe somewhere around here. I'm not going to put him over Huke. Where should we put him in B, though? I have no idea where to put him in B. No idea at all. What should we do? Where in B should we put Capsidal? Let's see what you guys are saying in the polls. Right now, we got 56% for the second spot of B. Wow. 56% for the second spot. Then the third spot, we got 21%. The fourth spot, we got 17%. It looks like most of you guys want to see him right over here. Boom. Right under Huke in the second spot. Interesting. I don't mind seeing him above Awakening. He definitely is a more selfless player than Awakening is. Again, one thing I admire about Capsidal, and Nero was kind of the same way, is how selfless they are and that they don't really care about their stats, and it shows in the way they play. So, listen, there's a lot of people in this chat as well that I think care way too much about stats. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I feel like a lot of you guys are like mind blown by some of the decisions up here on I don't mind having Cap like pretty high up on B, but I think a lot of people in here are looking at KDs and they're like, "Oh my god, like this list is terrible." I'm thinking about a lot of things when I'm making this list, bro, and I'm sure people in the chat are thinking about it as well. Stats are not everything in my personal opinion. People who think stats are everything, prayers. I feel like that's such a casual, like, bro, you got to be a real casual to just look at stats and just fucking rank people based on their stats. I think that's ridiculous. For me, Capsidal, guys, the way he plays, just go watch him play. He is a thorn in your side, ladies and gentlemen. He is all over the map. He's hitting pinches. He's hitting routes. He's the first one in. He's having nonstop interactions. He's a super unselfish player. And he's made a lot of plays for Boston this year. He's made a lot of plays. There's been Rookie of the Year. People have been talking about this guy being Rookie of the Year and this and that. At times, maybe not so much anymore, but at times, you know. So for me, the community has spoken. We're leaving Capsidal in the second spot at B. So we're going to leave him right there. Boom. How you doing? Capsidal. There you go. Now we're left with the Tiny Terrors, ladies and gentlemen. We're left with the Tiny Terrors, Abezy and Simp. Let's do Simp. Here's where the real question comes in. Does Simp belong in the S category, or does he belong in the A? If you want my honest opinions, chat, you want my honest opinions, because I see a lot of people putting A. I personally would put Simp in S right under Shotzzy, in my personal opinion. I think Shotzzy and Simp are in a league of their own. I think the only reason why a lot of people want to put Simp in A right now is because of recent bias. Maybe he's not playing like Simp usually plays, but even with Simp not playing to his full potential, he's still better than everybody underneath them, in my personal opinion. That's my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. I know Enable had him in S too. I'm going to keep Shotzzy above him. I'm going to keep Shotzzy at the top of S. But let's see what the community thinks. I'm really excited to see what you guys say for this one, bro, because I had no idea what we were going to say for this. We have 44% saying S and 54% saying A. So 54% saying A, 45% saying S. So final was 53% in A. So we're going to move Simp over to the top of A. I think it's pretty fair to put him at the top of A. Can we agree, though? Can we at least agree that he should be at the top of A? Can we at least agree that he should be at the top of A? Oh, you guys want to redo? You guys want to redo? Why are we redoing? The chat's faded. Redo Simp. Okay, we're redoing Simp, and it doesn't look like it's changing much. We got 300 votes, 55% for A, 45% for S. It still looks like majority of you guys are voting for Simp to be an A. I'm honestly genuinely surprised by that. I thought a lot of you guys would be saying S. Bro, Simp is incredible, man. He's incredible. He's been in the grand final for 2.5 years. He's been putting crazy numbers up with a submachine gun consistently for years. He plays his life like no other. The way he's able to play his life and switch lanes, and it's very hard to keep track of him on the map. I also think he has some of the best awareness in the league. I think he's one of the most aware players in the league. He always knows where everybody's at. He's really good at knowing when to speed up. He's really good at knowing when to slow down. I definitely think for me, Simp is like bottom S, top of A. I think if we're going to leave him in A, we're going to put him at the top of A. But let's see what you guys think. Where in A do you guys want to put Simp? Let's see what the community says. I kind of like where we have him right now. I think if you don't have him in the top of A, I think it's criminal. But let's see what you guys think, man. Where in A, we got number 1, 73%. Number 2, we got 25%. Okay, so it looks like most people want him in the top of A, and I would agree with that. That's my personal opinion. I just think he's been way too consistent. Even when he's not playing his best, he's still better than more than half the people in the league. And even right now, he's not playing his best, and he's still frying. He's still frying right now. So listen, I noticed some optics. There's some angry optic fans. People want to see Scump above him. But the community has voted, and it looks like the final verdict will be 75% for first and 24% for second, or 74% for first and 24% for second is the final verdict. So we're going to leave Simp at the top of A. And then we're left with Mr. Tyler Abezy. Obviously, he's going to go somewhere in A. But where in A do we put him? Personally, I would put Abezy under Scump. I think Scump has been showing more consistencies. I also see some people saying that he should be in B. I don't think I would put Abezy in B personally. I don't think we should put him in B. I think he should be somewhere in the A category. I think it would be crazy if we put him in B. I think he's one of the best subs. He really struggled in the grand final at the last event. But I would definitely put him somewhere in A. It seems like, let's go to a poll and see what you guys think of where to put him in A or B. I personally want to put him in A. If we're going to put him in A, where? I'm thinking maybe around here somewhere, like middle of the pack. I think Abezy right now has not been playing to the standards he wants to play at. I think he knows that. I think he knows how good he actually is, and he hasn't shown it. I think based off the last major and everything, Asim, Asim outplayed him. I think right now, I think having him right under Asim kind of makes sense right now. I kind of like it right here. Like, right in the middle of the pack, I'm putting him above Paco, Afro, and Mack, guys. Like, I'm putting him above that. Sleeping on Mack? How are we sleeping on Mack, Dairy, when we have him in A? Like, we have him... The rest of his... Bro, his teammates in B, we have him in A. We're not sleeping on Mack. We know how good Mack is. You just have to look down the list and realize that there's a lot of good players, man. You know, like, there's a lot of good players, and it's very, very difficult. And also, remember that the community voted for the final verdict. So, you know, this is also a community voted list. I kind of like where Abezy's at. Let's see where in A you guys said. Looking at it, we got 45% saying he should be in the 3rd spot of A. And 36% saying that he should be 4th. So right now, based off the community, you guys want to see him above Asim like that. So that's where we're going to leave him. Listen, I'm following the rules, chat. I got to follow the rules, okay? So right now, because of the community, we're going to put him in the 3rd spot. I think that looks pretty good. I'm surprised. Guys, at the end of the day, do you think this is a W list or an L list? I think it's a W list. I think the list looks pretty good. I see a lot of people spamming L list. I think a lot of people aren't really liking it. But I'm a pretty big fan of the list. I don't think the list is that bad. I think people are genuinely in the right spots. I think it gets very opinionated when it comes to who goes over what and where. But I think at the end of the day, that's why we went off the community, man. Whenever we get to those points or we don't know where people should go, we're going to go based on where the community thinks they should be. And that's what we came out with. So we worked together and we were able to build a little list. And this is the list we came out with. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think, man? We're getting some W's and some L's. Why don't we get a poll in the chat for W and L, and let's see what we get. Let's see if majority of people like the list or if majority of people dislike the list. But get your screenshots. Do what you got to do. This is the Zoomafia COD community list. The Zoomaa and Zoomafia COD community list. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what you guys come up with. We got a W and an L. Right now, we got 69% saying W. We got 11% saying L and 21% saying mid. Okay, so maybe the list was a little mid. Maybe a little bit mid. But I like where the list is at. I like where it's at. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We still got the flexes and the main ARs to do.